All right, let's dive in. Today we're all about magnetic resonance, and I gotta say, the stuff you sent over has me pretty fascinated, chemistry and medicine. It's like, how can those be connected? But apparently they are, and we're gonna find out how.
You hit the nail on the head. Magnetic resonance bridges those two worlds, the tiny world of molecules and the, well, much bigger world of, the human body.
It's almost like a superpower, like being able to see atoms doing their thing and then zoom, you're looking at a heart or a brain.
Exactly. And we're going to break down how that works, starting with something called nuclear magnetic resonance, or NMR for short. It's basically giving scientists X-ray vision, but for molecules.
Molecular X-ray vision, huh? That's pretty cool. Like, I remember one of the articles mentioned a drug called lovastatin, for cholesterol. They use this NMR to figure out what it even looks like, right?
You got it. Lovastatin was a real puzzle for a long time. Scientists couldn't figure out how to make it because they didn't know how it was put together. Then NMR came along, revealed its structure, and boom, now millions of people benefit from it.
Wow, that's a pretty big deal. All from, what, making atoms sing or something like that?
You're not wrong. It's all about understanding these fundamental properties of matter and then, finding those real-world applications. And that leads us nicely to magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI, which is using that same principle, but this time to see inside the human body.
Ah, MRI, everyone's heard of that. The no surgery, no radiation way to get a picture of what's going on inside. I have to admit, it almost sounds too good to be true.
It's an incredible technology. Think of it like this. It's kind of like taking, I don't know, a bunch of x-rays of your body from all different angles, right? And then a computer takes all those snapshots and creates a 3D model. That's essentially what MRI does. It's helping doctors diagnose everything from, torn ligaments to brain tumors.
So we can literally see inside ourselves, like having a window into the body. But let's get back to the basics for a minute. You mentioned that NMR makes atoms sing, and that has something to do with their spin. I gotta be honest, I'm a little lost there.
Ah, spin. This is where it gets a little, I guess you could say, quantum. Don't worry, we won't go too deep into the physics of it all, but spin is really important to understand how NMR and MRI work. It's a bit hard to wrap your head around, but imagine every atom is like a tiny spinning top, and that spinning creates its own mini magnetic field. And that's what we can detect with magnetic resonance.
Okay, so we've got all these little spinning magnets inside us, and that's what the big MRI machine is picking up on. That actually makes a lot of sense. It's like every atom is sending out its own signal. And by understanding those signals, scientists can create those detailed pictures of, well, anything from a single molecule to an entire organ.
Exactly. And the way these spins behave, what we call spin dynamics, is super important. Actually, understanding spin dynamics has opened up all sorts of possibilities, not just for creating images, but for studying how molecules interact with each other.
Wait, so we're not just talking about static pictures here. We can actually see molecules doing their thing, like in real time.
You got it. And that brings us to a really interesting example, bungarotoxin. Now, you might be surprised to hear that this stuff, it's actually a deadly toxin from snake venom, has become a super useful tool for neuroscience.
Snake venom. Okay, that's a little freaky. Not something I'd want to run into in the wild.
No, definitely not. Bungarotoxin is incredibly potent, but in the lab, scientists are using it, along with our understanding of those spin dynamics we were talking about, to map specific receptors in the brain.
Wow, so we're using snake venom to unlock the secrets of the brain? That's amazing, and a little scary, to be honest. It sounds like something straight out of a spy movie. But it makes me wonder, how do they even work with something so dangerous?
Well, it's a testament to human ingenuity, right? It shows how we can take even the most unlikely things and turn them into tools for scientific discovery.
That's what I love about these deep dives. We started with this, seemingly simple idea of magnetic resonance, and now we're talking about snake venom and the brain.
It's all connected, and believe it or not, we've only just scratched the surface of what magnetic resonance can do.
Okay, hold on. Before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's rewind a bit. We talked about NMR, which lets us see molecules, and MRI, which lets us see inside the body. But there's one more piece I'm curious about. Contrast agents. What are those, and how do they fit into all this?
Well, think of contrast agents as, I don't know, like special effects for MRI. There are substances that doctors inject into the body to make certain tissues show up more clearly on the scan.
So like adding a filter to a picture to make certain things stand out, right? Do they like make your insides glow or something?
Not quite glow in the dark, but yeah, they enhance the visibility of certain areas. Think of it like highlighting important sentences in a book.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do they work? What are these contrast agents even made of?
That's where the chemistry comes in. Designing contrast agents is all about, well, manipulating molecules at a very basic level. It's a tricky balancing act.
Balancing act. How so?
Well, you have to create a molecule that's safe for the body, but also effective at targeting, specific tissues or cells. It's like finding a key that fits a specific lock, but in this case, the lock is inside the body.
So it sounds like there's some serious chemistry wizardry going on to create these contrast agents. I bet there's a lot of research going on to make them even better, right?
Absolutely. Developing new and improved contrast agents is a really hot area of research right now.
This is amazing. We've covered so much ground already, from NMR and MRI to spin dynamics and even contrast agents. And I feel like we've only just begun to explore the world of magnetic resonance.
And that's what makes it so fascinating. It's a constant journey of discovery, with every new finding leading to new paths to explore.
Well, I'm definitely hooked. This deep dive has already been mind-blowing, and I can't wait to see what else we uncover as we keep going.
Welcome back to our magnetic resonance adventure.
We're figuring out just how much this technology is changing the game, both for chemistry and medicine.
And one of the areas that's really, exploding right now is the development of those contrast agents we were talking about, the molecular highlighters.
Right, the ones that help certain tissues stand out in MRI scans. It's like giving doctors a superpowered zoom lens for the human body.
Exactly, but researchers are going way beyond just, making a tumor easier to see. They're designing these contrast agents to target very specific cells, even processes happening inside the body.
So we're not just seeing structures anymore, we're actually seeing what's happening, like at a cellular level.
That's it. Imagine a contrast agent that could detect the very early signs of Alzheimer's way before any symptoms even show up.
That would be revolutionary. I mean, early diagnosis is so important for so many conditions. It could completely change how we approach treatment, everything.
Absolutely, and that's just one example. Scientists are working on contrast agents that can bind to specific proteins or molecules, the ones associated with all sorts of diseases. The goal is earlier and more accurate detection.
So it's like having these tiny little spies, like molecular detectives, searching the body for clues and sending signals back to the MRI machine.
Perfect analogy. And the potential is huge. We're talking about a future where we can not only diagnose diseases earlier, but also monitor how well treatments are working, like in real time.
It's crazy to think something as, seemingly simple as a contrast agent can have such a huge impact on medicine. And of course, it all comes back to chemistry.
Chemistry is the foundation, yeah. Manipulating molecules, understanding how they interact, designing them to do very specific things inside the body, that's what makes all of this possible.
It's like chemists are the architects of this microscopic world, building the tools that allow us to see and understand the human body in ways we never could before.
Speaking of tools, let's talk about the MRI machines themselves for a minute. We've come a long way from those, early, kind of scary behemoth machines.
I've seen pictures of those early machines. They look more like spaceships than medical equipment.
They were pretty imposing, that's for sure. Loud, bulky, not exactly known for patient comfort, But thanks to all the advances in technology, MRI machines are becoming much more compact, more user-friendly.
That's great news for anyone who's ever had to lie perfectly still inside one of those things. It must have felt a little claustrophobic, to say the least.
But it goes beyond just comfort. Scientists are developing all these new MRI techniques that are allowing us to visualize the body in ways we never thought possible.
Really? Like what? Give us some examples.
Well, one really groundbreaking technique is functional MRI, or fMRI. This actually lets us see which parts of the brain are active during, certain tasks. It's like watching the brain light up in response to different stimuli.
So we can literally see thoughts happening.
In a way, yeah. fMRI measures blood flow to different areas of the brain, and that indicates neural activity. It's completely changed how we understand how the brain works.
That's incredible. What other secrets between these new MRI techniques reveal?
There's also diffusion tensor imaging, or DTI. This allows us to visualize the white matter tracks in the brain.
White matter tracks, those sound important.
They are, yeah. Think of them like the brain's wiring system, connecting different regions and allowing them to communicate.
So DTI lets us see the brain's communication network.
Exactly, and this is incredibly valuable for studying conditions like multiple sclerosis, which affects the white matter and disrupts that communication between different parts of the brain.
It's amazing how these techniques are helping us understand the brain in more detail. Like, we're finally starting to unravel its complexity.
And it's not just the brain. Scientists are developing new MRI techniques to study everything from the heart to the lungs to the musculoskeletal system. We're gaining insights into the human body that were unimaginable just a few decades ago.
It seems like the possibilities are just endless. And it makes you wonder, where else could magnetic resonance take us? What other fields could benefit from this technology?
That's a great question, and one that leads to some really fascinating applications, beyond chemistry and medicine. Magnetic resonance is finding its way into all sorts of unexpected fields.
Okay, you've got me intrigued. What are some of these unexpected applications? Give us a little sneak peek.
Well, for example, magnetic resonance is being used in agriculture to study plant growth and development.
Plants in MRI machines. That's not something I ever would have pictured.
It might sound strange, but it makes sense. Just like in humans, magnetic resonance can visualize the internal structures of plants and even track how water and nutrients move through them.
So instead of looking inside the human body, we're peering into the inner world of plants. What kind of information does that give us?
Farmers can use that information to create the best growing conditions, to improve crop yields. We're talking about using magnetic resonance to literally grow more food.
That's amazing. It's like we're taking this high-tech tool and using it to solve some of the world's most basic challenges. Any other surprises you can share?
Definitely. Magnetic resonance is being used in food science to analyze the composition of different food products. It can detect contaminants, measure how many nutrients are present, even determine where a food product came from.
So magnetic resonance is helping make sure our food is safe and healthy.
Exactly. It's becoming really important for quality control and food safety.
This is incredible. We've gone from visualizing molecules to looking inside the human body, and now we're talking about how magnetic resonance is improving agriculture and even making our food supply safer.
It just shows how versatile and powerful this technology is. And as we learn more about it, I think we're going to find even more ways it can benefit humanity.
Welcome back. It's wild to think we started this whole deep dive talking about atoms singing, and now we're talking about like the future of magnetic resonance.
It has been quite a journey, that's for sure. From those tiny molecules to the complexities of the human body and even, applications in agriculture and food science. Magnetic resonance really is everywhere.
And you were saying the most exciting part is yet to come. So let's talk future. What kind of groundbreaking stuff is on the horizon for magnetic resonance?
Well, one of the most promising areas is, those contrast agents we've been talking about. Researchers are working on making them even more sophisticated, more targeted.
We already talked about how they can highlight specific tissues or cells, right? What's next? How much more precise can they get?
Imagine contrast agents that could detect the earliest signs of a disease, like at the molecular level, way before any symptoms even show up.
So instead of waiting for something to go wrong, we could identify potential problems before they even start. That's incredible.
That's the dream, right? Preventative medicine at its best. And magnetic resonance, because it can see inside the body at such a fundamental level, is going to play a huge role in making that happen.
It's mind-boggling to think that one day, like a regular MRI scan, could reveal potential health risks years, even decades in advance. It would completely change healthcare as we know it.
Absolutely. And this leads to another really exciting area, personalized medicine.
Personalized medicine, yeah, I've heard that a lot lately. What does that actually mean when we're talking about magnetic resonance?
It means tailoring treatments to each individual person, taking into account their genes, lifestyle, even their specific disease profile, moving away from that one-size-fits-all approach to healthcare.
So instead of just using general guidelines, doctors could use magnetic resonance to get super detailed information about each patient and then, create a treatment plan just for them.
Exactly. Magnetic resonance can provide all sorts of insights into someone's anatomy, physiology, even their genetic predispositions. And doctors can use that information to predict how someone might respond to different treatments and then choose the best course of action.
It's like having a personalized roadmap for your health, guiding doctors towards the best outcome for each patient.
Great way to put it. And this level of precision could revolutionize how we treat all kinds of diseases: cancer, heart disease, neurological disorders, you name it.
It sounds like magnetic resonance is leading us to a future where healthcare is, well, more proactive, more personalized, and ultimately more effective. What other, futuristic stuff is on the horizon?
Okay, this one might sound like science fiction, but researchers are actually using magnetic resonance to explore brain-computer interfaces.
Brain-computer interfaces. Okay, now you're really getting into the future. What does that even mean?
It means using magnetic resonance to decode brain activity and then translate those thoughts into actions.
Wait, so we're talking about controlling devices with our minds. Is that even possible?
It's becoming more possible all the time. Scientists are making amazing progress in using magnetic resonance to interpret brain signals and then use those signals to control, external devices.
This is mind-blowing. What kind of things could this be used for?
The possibilities are endless, really. Imagine people with paralysis could regain mobility by controlling prosthetic limbs with their thoughts. Or people with locked-in syndrome could communicate using brain-controlled devices.
That sounds straight out of a movie, but it would be life-changing for so many people facing physical limitations.
Absolutely, and that's just one example. Magnetic resonance is pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible. And as we understand this technology better, we can expect even more groundbreaking things in the future.
It's incredible to think we started this deep dive talking about, the basics of atoms, and now we're discussing mind control and the future of healthcare. It really shows the power of science.
And that's the beauty of it, right? It's this never-ending journey of discovery, and with every new finding, we open up a whole world of possibilities we never even dreamed of.
This deep dive has been an amazing journey, showing us just how powerful magnetic resonance is for unlocking secrets of both the microscopic and macroscopic worlds.
We've gone from the building blocks of molecules to the intricate workings of the human body, and we've seen how this technology is already shaping the future of medicine, neuroscience, and so much more.
And it definitely feels like this is only the beginning, right?
Absolutely. The future is wide open, and I'm excited to see what incredible advancements we'll see in the world of magnetic resonance. Who knows, maybe one day we'll revisit this topic and delve into even more mind-blowing discoveries.
Well, on that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive into the fascinating world of magnetic resonance. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey of scientific exploration. Until next time, stay curious and keep those imaginations open to all the amazing possibilities out there.